Last fall, the 27-year-old mystery, Where is Jacob?, one of the most famous in Minnesota history, was solved, though not in the way any of us had wanted. His remains were found in a peaceful pasture just off Highway 23 near the Crow River outside of Painesville, my hometown. It was a Painesville man who had abducted him when he was 11 years old from a road near his St. Joseph home. Something we had suspected ever since Danny Heinrich, a former Painesville resident, was named a person of interest in the case. While the media helped keep Jacob's story alive for 27 years, no one worked harder than his family, than his parents, Patty and Jerry, to continue the search for Jacob and to bring him home. Jerry continues to practice as a chiropractor in St. Joseph, and Patty has become a national expert on child abduction. To them, Jacob was alive until he was found. We are so grateful to have them here today. Please join me in welcoming Patty and Jacob Wetterling.
First things people say to me is, "You're so short." I want to thank you. I want to thank you. This is probably, we had one media day where we wanted to thank everybody, but other than that, we really haven't said much, in part because we're sort of stunned. But I do want to thank you. John, I don't know where you are. I do love what you do. I do love the print media. I do have tremendous respect for really the media in the Twin Cities area. But the print media allowed us an opportunity to sit down, talk from our heart, not be worried about sound bites, not be worried about the accuracy, because often we were given an opportunity to kind of review and make sure that they got it right. And I think that one of your challenges is the speed with which everything gets out in today's world, and there isn't the attention to the detail and accuracy, and for 27 years that's all we had were the facts. Stick to the facts, stick to the truth, and you helped us do that, and for that we are eternally grateful. I wanted to get the Times headlines from October 24th, which I think was the first day. Jacob was kidnapped on a Sunday night, and so the first day, the 23rd, was just kind of getting everything together, so that the 24th was the first day that the St. Cloud Times had the cover story, and I didn't really get a chance to do that, but I can tell you that we have been blessed with the attention to detail and accuracy, and nobody left us. Year after year, people would continue to put something, it's another year, it's another birthday, it's another, and don't forget, don't give up, and I really want to keep singing that song because there are missing children out there, and they do come home. That part of our message has always been true. And I also want to tell you that many people, unlike the current electronic media, they would cut out the picture of Jacob and stick it on the fridge, and many people have returned these sort of yellowed and curled notes or articles that have been on their fridge for all of these years. They wanted us to know that they never quit. So people keep your media. They keep that hard paper. I also wanted to thank Mike. I really believe that it is because of the Painesville Press archives that our case was eventually solved. It was the case of looking back over the articles from long ago, and I doubt years from now if anybody's going to really, if they're looking for the truth or looking for what was going on in 2017. I doubt they're going to go to the tweet archives. You know, it's like they don't pay attention to the accuracy and the detail. That is your job, and I also believe in it. If I ever want facts, that's where I will go, and so thank you for that. The way that I see that everything unfolded was really that kind of coming together of many, many things. The Painesville archives brought forth some other victims. Joy Baker, who's a blogger but with integrity, met many of these victims. I think she's met with, it's either 13 or 15 of these victims. It's bigger than what people know, because many of these boys grew up and they have moved on in their lives and never really talked about it. But it was because of Joy and Jared and their bravery of coming forward and talking about it that led to more pressure on law enforcement and more pressure to keep going. We, meanwhile, had met with the Sheriff's Department and said, you know, we don't want a 25th anniversary. Can you bring in a cold case review? Can you bring in some more resources? Because we had everybody at the beginning, we had the FBI, the State Crime Bureau, PCA, Tri-County Major Crime Unit, the Sheriff's Department, St. Joe PD, we had everybody. But eventually it goes back to just the hosting agency. So the Sheriff's Department had it. And it's like, no offense, but you have had it for 25 years, we want more. I do law enforcement trainings around the country, so I have the opportunity to see these other cases and to study how do they get solved. And it usually is because you go back to the beginning, and we were begging for that. Meanwhile, John Walsh came to town and did the hunt. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children sent their case managers and cold case review people, and they saw the link between Painesville and Cold Spring and St. Joe, and they said they have to be connected. We did a billboard campaign, and when we met with the Sheriff's Department, the FBI said, we do have a cold case team. It's called the CARD team. And I said, I know about them. I work with some of those guys around the country. It's a child abduction response deployment, and they said that they would bring that to study Jacob's case. With that, they found the DNA that matched with Jared. There was a search warrant. There were foreign charges. Jerry's going to talk a little more about that. And I feel that it was this convergence of a lot of things that led to this sort of noose tightening around the main suspect. We had a very, it's hard to even put to words into what happened in 1 week. So I'm going to let Jerry kind of talk through what our version of how this unfolded.